Okay, because that was gonna be my follow-up. So what do you think happens like when we're sitting here doing a recap of 2024? Where do you think Diddy is? Like, is this just like a 2 month like blip and he just goes away and then he's back to being Diddy? Like, how do you think this ends for him?
I think come like mid next year, um, people are gonna kind of forget. They're gonna poke at him, and this is for I think forever gonna be a like a running. I don't want to say running
Joke?
joke, but somewhat of that where like no matter what he does, you're always gonna see it in the comments, kind of like with Chris Brown or whoever else. But unless more and more like prominent women come out and there's concrete evidence and things like that, like I don't see him necessarily uh being like pushed out of the scene, because there's if people are already debating on whether or not it was a money grab, like I don't see it getting any better unless someone has a footage, or a doctor comes out with like concrete proof or something.
Yeah, dude. So I struggle with this. I'll just go the opposite way just for the sake of like the pod. But I struggle with this a bit, bro, because again, it does feel like it is mounting, right? It went from Cassie's thing to other people, and then now the sponsors or some sponsors and the networks. And I mean, Diageo is one of the biggest brands in the world, and they pulled away from him as well. So in a weird way, bro, like I think the public makes not the public makes like reasoning on certain people based off like the impact they have on their lives, right? So I get that he has debt with the culture for what he's done for the last 30 years probably, right? But
Mhm.
recently, what music does he give us? Right? Like what
Right.
does Diddy do for us today? Nothing, bro. Like you think about it, like what is Diddy? Like I get he had that hot song with Bryson Tiller this year, but okay, bro, that came out of the blue. Like really, no one's checking for Diddy's music. Diddy is almost allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants in hip hop, and like, yo, it's Diddy, it's Uncle Love, Brother Love, like, bro, we love. He's been around forever, but he still looks young. Blah blah blah. Let him dance. Let him dress up in costumes. But now we're being told as a public on a nationwide level, hey, he actually is those crazy things you've been thinking about. I do feel people are gonna pause to embrace him the same way. And then he really, again, dude, I'm not sure. He's not that he's skillless, but dude, a lot of his money is generated on what he can promote and what brands can fuck with him, right?
Right. Right.
So
That is
he
true.
can't do that anymore because brands are gonna want to touch him. Dude, I see a weird way he almost becomes like the Russell Simmons of like the next those next like moguls that just like, dude, Russell Simmons in fucking Thailand doing yoga and cannot come back to
Yeah.
America. Like, I'm not saying they're about to extract this guy somewhere else, but dude, I can see Diddy in a year, bro, just not being in the scene at all because, bro, at the end of the day, like, dude, we're not checking for Diddy's songs, bro. We're checking for what is Diddy promoting. And if he's not really allowed to promote shit because no one's gonna touch him, bro, I can see him just going away for a while. Like I don't think this is gonna be like a 2-3 months, like, all right, man, just chill, like Travis Scott. Like, dude, just chill at home, you're fine, you're rich. I think this is gonna start hurting his pockets in a big way because no one's really gonna want Diddy to be the face of their brands.
That is a good point. Yeah, because he's not really. I think people forget when you make hits and all that stuff. Like when you're doing stuff that the public can consume and enjoy for endless periods of time. But if all we get from him is like a random liquor here and there or
Right.
some other thing, then I do agree that he's definitely going to be put in a weird position where he can't really
Yeah.
do a whole lot.
You can't do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Like really, you're dependent on public opinion when you become the face of these brands, and the public's not fucking with you. Again, it might go
Mhm.
away as far as the public just what's the next big story, sure. But I think for you to come back and us to want to buy a fucking bottle of Ciroc seltzer, you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
I can't think you're the same guy who rapes women, bro. Like I can't
Yeah.
like that's not gonna work. So yeah, dude, it'll
Yeah.
be very interesting, man, because dude, he's been a staple in hip hop culture, bro, since dude the first CD I ever bought was the Can't Hold Me Down single.
Yeah.
6 years old, bro. So dude, he said she's been around for what, 35, 40 years in hip hop. So that's pretty wild. Again, as we get older, you start seeing these people, again, for whatever reason, just start changing. It's crazy to think a hip hop world with Diddy just isn't around.
Yeah. And I think it's just another lesson that, you know, we shouldn't treat these idols or idolize these celebrities too much, because we really don't know who they are as people behind the scenes. That's not to say any of us are perfect and holy all the time, but I think these guys take it to the extreme, and they have a tendency to treat people as inferior and like pieces of shit. So that's why I personally never put too much weight into these artists and like pick and choose, you know, and defend them to the end.
Right.
Without
You don't,
like
we
knowing
don't fucking know.
Right.